Hello, my name is Marve Eggleston, and I'm the African American Recruitment and Outreach Specialist here in the Office of Admissions at UC Merced. Welcome to the 2022 We Are Family UC Merced Black Community Webinar. The core of the African American experience starts with family. Thinking of family can remind us of memories of love, security, and lessons learned in the past. It's with the people, both nuclear, like mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, and extended, like coaches, aunts, uncles, teens, anybody who can provide us with enrichment. And they've taught us traditions and values. They have inspired us to dream big, set goals, and challenged us to have a future better than their own. So now you are armed with family honor, discipline, and trust to make decisions about the next chapter in your life, going to college. The goal naturally is to choose a school where you can be productive and rewarding to earn a degree. And oh yeah, by the way, it helps us if you can have a little fun. Our UC Merced family continues to grow, and we're excited about the possibility of having you enrolled as a new student. Once again, I want to say welcome. I hope that you enjoy our program that we've set out for you. And I'd like to introduce our first co-presenter, Mariah.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Mariah. I am the Merced Promise Admissions Advisor for UC Merced. And as a fun fact, I am a UC Merced alum. I received my bachelor's degree in psychology. I actually transferred to the university from Los Angeles Pierce College. So I'm also really excited to be able to share more about the university with you guys, being that I am from the Black community here. So I would love to be able to share some of those experiences that we've had. And then I will go ahead and pass it over to my co-presenter, Tim, so that he may introduce himself.
Thank you, Mariah, and good evening, everyone. I'm so happy that you're here and delighted that you're learning more about UC Merced and the Black community at our campus. Again, my name is Timothy Ford, and I serve as the Northern California Admissions Advisor in our Office of Admissions. I'm originally from Los Angeles, and I am a UC alum. I studied theater and dance. When I'm not out actively recruiting students, you may find me in certain productions here in the Bay Area. So I'm really happy to have you all join us. And with that, I'd like to turn it back over to, actually this time I'd like to introduce Ms. Kia Tan, who is our Associate Director of Diversity Engagement and Transfer Initiatives. And she's going to share some information with you regarding special initiatives that are taking place on our campus to support our students. Kia?
Thank you, Tim. And hi, everyone. I'm so excited for everyone to join us this evening. As Tim said, my name's Kia Tan, and I serve as our Associate Director of Diversity Engagement and Transfer Initiatives in the Office of Admissions. My team is very unique, and I'm really proud of that at UC Merced because we do intentional outreach and recruitment to underrepresented communities. And so this webinar is celebrating Black History Month, but also a part of our campus's commitment to making sure that we are outreaching and recruiting underrepresented communities, right? And it's not just something that's to our office alone. Our entire campus embraces our diversity. And so we do have an Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion as well at our UC Merced campus. And through that office, they really work closely with our faculty, our staff, and our students to make sure that we are in tune to what our students really need, right? And so one of those initiatives also include our Valuing Black Lives initiatives here at UC Merced. And through that, we work again with staff, faculty, and students to make sure that we are listening to them, we are taking action and developing strategic plans that really is inclusive of the student experience, right? So that's something that we're really proud of here at UC Merced. And this is just one of the webinars that is a part of our Diversity Inclusive webinar series at UC Merced. And so we will be launching additional webinars throughout the year, celebrating different communities, different cultures, different types of students, transfer students, right, veterans, and so forth. And so we really, are honored to kick it off this month with our We Are Family webinar. And we're excited that all of you are here with us.
All right, thank you so much, Kia, for letting us know what we plan to do here at UC Merced. So I want to start with a brief overview about what we're going to be discussing in today's event. We're going to go over some Black student resources on our campus, as well as some clubs and organizations that you can join to feel a sense of community on our campus. After that, you'll have a chance to ask some questions to our UC Merced alum and current students. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to submit those in the Q&A down below, and we'll make sure that we answer those questions later on. So to begin, I want to start off with UC Merced's commitment to Black excellence. And as stated in the memorandum, Black lives matter. They matter at UC Merced, and they always matter. They matter across our nation, and they matter across the world. UC Merced is fully committed to ending the conditions that create injustice, conditions that are leaving our Black community dehumanized and their innocent lives taken. The enduring legacy of slavery, segregation, racism, and oppression in America must be confronted and addressed systemically. Remember that this is not a moment, but rather a movement. And therefore, the university has highlighted immediate, short-term, and long-term plans to address submitted proposals. If you would like to view the full memorandum, you may feel free to scan the QR code on the screen right now, and that should take you to our memorandum. I'll give you a few moments just in case anyone is wanting to take a look at that. All right, so here we have UC Merced's Black Book, created by members of our amazing Black community here at UC Merced. This page contains information about the Black community, as well as the necessary contact information should you have any questions as a prospective Bobcat or a guest on our campus. You will also be able to receive more information about the Black clubs and organizations on campus, along with their missions and values. If you are wanting to become more familiar with the Black faculty and staff on campus, including their work on our campus and the courses that our Black faculty or professors teach, you will also find that information located here on our website. So let's begin with the Afro Hall, or the Afrikaans for Retention and Outreach Hall Living and Learning Community, which welcomes first and second year students from all cultures who are interested in exploring the African diaspora. This program is designed to launch students towards success by uniting students in the African diaspora and increasing retention and graduation rates through various resources. Afro Hall provides opportunities for mentoring, academic workshops, as well as community services. Students will gain support systems, leadership skills, and an unforgettable living experience. So if you're interested in that, make sure you do some additional research. There is a QR code on this slide as well. That way you guys can take a look at what that living and learning community can provide for you. So here at UC Merced, we have about 200 clubs and organizations. Most of these clubs and organizations were actually started by our students when they wanted to connect with people who share similar interests. This really reflects the pioneering spirit of UC Merced, and if you would like to help shape the campus as it grows, you're more than welcome to start your own club with a few of your friends and a small fee, but it's really simple, and you can be the founding president of this club and really just leave your mark at the campus. In the next few slides, we will highlight some of the Black clubs and organizations on our campus. And again, these clubs are for anyone who is interested in exploring the African diaspora. So let's begin with the Afro Club. Again, it stands for Afrikaans for Retention and Outreach. And this program seeks to unite and establish an Afrikaan community on campus that really focuses on academic excellence, community outreach, mentoring that fosters student development throughout the student's university experience. And in fact, the Afro organization is responsible for establishing the Afro Hall Living and Learning Community as a way to provide a safe space for Black students on campus. I love to mention that about the Afro Club. So here at UC Merced, we also have the Black Student Union Organization, which seeks to establish, provide, and foster the awareness and appreciation of African American culture and history, while also enhancing political awareness, social tolerance, and of course, academic success. The club members focus on and engage in community outreach, academic and social support, volunteering, and community service. And as you can see on the slide, we do see that they host a couple of events, some really popular ones such as Pajama Jam, which helps to raise money for the organization, and the Welcome Black Barbecue, which is typically at the beginning of each fall, to allow everybody to gather together and see the new students and returning students alike to really just become familiar with the Black community on the campus. For women of color on campus, there is the Distinguished Ladies Organization, which seeks to uplift one another to become successful minority women while positively impacting our campus community. Members are actively involved in our Merced community while engaging in biweekly meetings, study sessions, as well as bonding events. Some of those events include World AIDS Day and the Paint and Sip party that they have going on, and that also helps to raise money for the organization. For those of you who are or intend to major in one of the engineering majors that we have at UC Merced, we do have the National Society of Black Engineers organization, which seeks to increase the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact our community. Delta Sigma Theta sorority, which was founded in 1913 by 22 collegiate women at Howard University that we can also see on the right-hand side of this slide. It has become one of the permanent service-based sororities with more than 300,000 initiated members, as well as over 1,000 chartered chapters worldwide. This is a sisterhood comprised of primarily Black, college-educated women, and the sorority boldly confronts the challenges of African Americans and hence all Americans. The major programs of the sorority are based on the 5-point programmatic thrust, economic development, educational development, international awareness and involvement, physical and mental health, and political awareness and involvement. We are proud to announce that Delta Sigma Theta has begun conducting intakes at UC Merced as of this spring in 2022. So if you're interested in joining a predominantly Black sorority, we do now have one of those on our campus for you to join. All right, so the STEP team at UC Merced is a performance-based organization that believes in academic success, cultural traditions, and physical wellness. The members of the STEP also participate in community outreach, weekly study sessions to enhance academic success, and weekly practices to ensure that they are ready for future performances. The STEP team is one of the only Black clubs and organizations, or actually the Black club and organization that has the most service hours here at UC Merced, and they actually were presented with an award for equity, diversity, and inclusion by the Dean of Student Office. Last but not least, I would like to discuss the program BOLD. BOLD is an interactive leadership program developed with workshops that helps to build upon the others to create a universal understanding of leadership, unity, and advocacy from a global sense, but with specific attention to the Black student community here at UC Merced. BOLD creates a space for further development of students' capacity as leaders, empowering them to maintain their authenticity and increase their ability to contribute to unity and leadership at UC Merced and beyond. So students who identify as Black or within the African diaspora are highly encouraged to register, and those who attend all 4 workshops will receive an official certificate of completion from the Student Leadership Center and will also receive some assistance on how you can incorporate that into your resumes. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic back over to my colleague Tim so that he may introduce our student panelists.
Thank you, Mariah. There's so many great, exciting organizations at UC Merced for you to all consider. Before we go into our student panel, we're going to actually take a step back and we're going to introduce one of our faculty members who has joined us, Dr. Mariana Harris. A little bit about her. She oversees our teacher preparation program, which prepares single and multiple subject candidates for a teaching credential at UC Merced. She has worked in higher education and education in general for over 25 years in a plethora of capacities, including being a principal, a vice principal, a teacher, a coordinator, the list goes on and on. She's very passionate about education, and I'd like to introduce her to share some words of wisdom about her experience as a faculty member here at UC Merced. Dr. Mariana Harris.
Thank you so much, Timothy, and welcome everyone. We are family. I love it. I am Mariana Harris, as Timothy said, and I am the Director of Education Programs at UC Merced Extension. And as he said, I oversee the teacher preparation program. So those people who want to have a single subject credential, a multiple subject credential, or a bilingual authorization, I am the one who oversees that program. And I'm also an instructor in that program too. In addition to that, I have Brown Youth Academy, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But Brown Youth Academy is an academy that we started 7 years ago for middle school students who want to walk in the shoes of college students and come to UC Merced and spend some time with us on campus, literally living in our dormitory, eating in our pavilion, visiting professors on campus, our research labs, having an opportunity to go to Yosemite National Park and meet the rangers, the UC Merced students who are rangers there, just a whole slew of experiences that we have for middle school students in the summer. I also oversee a dual enrollment child development and care program where we partner with high schools in the area, and we're able to have those students have dual enrollment, not only taking the courses on their high school campus, but getting college credit for it too. And so it's an inspirational way of inspiring students to come to college. But I really want to talk about We Are Family and what that means to me. And then I'll go into what my kind of points of advice are for you as you think about coming to UC Merced and taking classes on campus and joining other students in networking. So let me just talk a little bit about me and my connection to UC Merced. When I hear the phrase "we are family," I really do think about the Black Bobcats at UC Merced because I believe that I am one of them. My relationship with UC Merced began in 2007 when my husband became a lecturer at UC Merced in business management and economics in the School of Shaw. And I was so very excited to visit with him when he was on campus. And I would come quite often and meet a lot of the students and a lot of the faculty there. And so in 2007, when he started, I was just a wife. And then eventually I became a mother because I have two sons, and both sons helped their father on campus. But one son, the younger one, graduated from UC Merced. And I'm happy to say that that became the family affair. And I became the next person to acquire a position on campus. And then it was a full foursome at UC Merced. So let me just say, I'm proud to be a Bobcat. I'm proud to be a part of the Bobcat family. My family, my husband is still there. The sons have gone on to graduate, and they're currently lawyers here in the city of Sacramento, where I live. My son, Eric, who helped out as a TA with my husband on campus, is currently the public policy director for Disability Rights California. And then my son, the younger one, Martin, who graduated from UC Merced, is a lawyer practicing law with a law firm here in Sacramento. So I'm very proud to say that UC Merced was a part of that accomplishment for our family. And my husband and I are still there, and we're still there, and we're still very active on campus. So I'm speaking to possible parents who are listening when I talk about how we have gotten really involved in UC Merced and in the community of Merced. Not only do I'm an instructor and my husband as a professor, I'm also on other committees in Merced. I'm on the Council of African American Student Success with Merced County Office of Education, where I continue the work to be able to make sure that we're giving the advice that students need and the encouragement that students need to think about higher education at UC Merced. So I work closely with Merced County Office of Education. I'm also a member of the NAACP, and I'm a member of the chapter here in Sacramento, but I work very closely with the chapters all around the state, and especially the one in Merced, where I rub shoulders with all of the leadership group who works with the California network of NAACPs. So I'm active in that as well. And when Mariah was talking about Delta Sigma Theta, well, I'm a member of the Divine Nine as well, but I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and I'm a member of the chapter here in Sacramento. And many of you might even know that our Vice President, Kamala Harris, is also a member of my sorority. And so we're very, very proud of her. But I'm staying involved all the time with those things that touch our community and make sure that our community is well informed about what UC Merced has to offer and that they make a connection with someone on campus. So I'm always willing to make sure that that network is open to those students who come to campus and call on me. I'm shouting you out, Nia Bishop, because I just got off of a call with Tashelle in San Francisco, and that's how I met Nia. And so that connection, that community network is very important at UC Merced. And we are a campus that embraces our Black community and our Black network of students, and we're always there to support. So I want to make sure that you know that my husband and I are on campus, and we are there to support you as students, and we're there to support you as families because we've walked in your shoes, making sure that our son had the best experience at UC Merced. Our son Martin not only played basketball, he was a part of the first NAIA team at UC Merced. He was all conference. He went on to also go to the UCDC, where he participated in the Olympics. He had a part in the role he played for the Sochi Olympics in 2014, which was the Winter Olympics in Sochi, which is Russia. And he had a great experience doing that with UCDC. And along the way, my husband and I were there and shared a lot of these experiences with him, just like we do with a lot of the students who are on campus today and have been graduates from many years before those of you who are entering or thinking about coming to our campus this year. So I want to share that with you. I want to let you know that we are there and that we're so proud of our students, and we're there as a part of a network to make sure that you understand that we are family and that the network of Black students is very strong. I was the advisor to the distinguished ladies, which Mariah spoke about, and so very proud to have that role. My husband and I have always been considered parents of BSU because we are always advising and networking with the Black students in the Black Student Union. And so I'm always staying involved. I'm always staying involved and volunteering with the Chancellor. I was on his Valuing Black Lives Task Force the last year, and I really enjoyed that because we did a listening tour in the community to find out what were the things that the Black community thought that we were short on and what are the things that we could improve. And so that was a great network for me as well. So all of this to say that we welcome you as family on our campus. We're a very proud small UC, but we are a part of the University of California family. And there's so much to offer at our University of California, and as far as research, as far as classrooms, as far as organizations, just a nice network where it's small enough for you to get involved and get acclimated to our UC, and also for you to find your place in our university by joining organizations and networking with all of us so that we can meet you, get to know you, and support you as you go on to your higher education goals. So I want to say thank you for being here tonight. I want to make myself available to you. And if there's ever anything I can do to extend a hand of friendship or a hand of networking, please look for me on campus. I'm located in the administration building and the teacher preparation program is there. So welcome everyone. It's good to see you, and we are family at UC Merced.
As always, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Mariana Harris. Your words of inspiration is always great. And as was shared, we are family, and that family connection takes place not just with our students and our faculty, but also across the board with staff members as well, too. And as Dr. Mariana Harris mentioned, the connections that she has made with some of our students has continued throughout the history of UC Merced. And we have a few students here who has worked very closely with her, including 2 alumni that we'd like to introduce to you first and foremost. So our 2 alumni speakers this evening, Zelio Donza graduated in 2020 with a degree in critical race and ethnic studies. And she is committed to increasing the visibility of Black professionals in higher education. So I'm really happy to learn and hear that she is continuing to work and working in a higher education setting as well, too. And then also we have another alum speaker, Mr. Donald Carter, who's going to share some information about his experience at UC Merced. He is a recent graduate from the class of 2021, also with a degree in critical race and ethnic studies, but also in addition to that particular major, sociology as well. So I'd like to kick it off first and foremost. I'm going to introduce, as I mentioned earlier, Mr. Donald Carter, who graduated this past year. And again, he's from South Sacramento. So Donald, if you would like to go further, and once we get Zelie back on, we'll go that direction. So Donald.
Thank you, Timothy. So I guess to start off talking to y'all, I would say the experience at UC Merced was one of a kind. And a lot of people kind of knock it for being, smaller or not as established. But as a person that likes challenges and like growing my intellect and knowledge, I took that on as a challenge. And I came and I honestly tried to make the most of it. As you guys can see, we have wonderful staff, we have wonderful organizations, and we have wonderful people that want to see you succeed. And a part of that success is comfortability. And as a person, a African-American man, I was involved in everything. I was in Afro Hall my first year. I wanted to get comfortable and just be around people that look like me and just establish that vision in my mind that success is possible. And then seeing staff like Dr. Marve, who are very helpful and really want to help you succeed and have opportunities for you to get experience. I was a part of that Brown Youth Academy not once, but twice. And the first time I did it as a regular staff, and the second time I did it as a lead. And those are just some of the opportunities that you can get to develop yourself and learn about what you want and who you are and where you want to get. I guess to wrap it up, I'd say a quick story is that I actually met Tim when I was in high school, and he came and it was only 5 of us. I remember it so vividly. He talked to 5 students at my high school, and out of all 5 of them, I was the only one that actually attended the school. And years later, I actually worked with Kia as a tour guide, and I saw Tim a little bit more. And then in my last year, I did this exact same webinar last year, and just for it to be a full circle of me meeting him and then being a panelist back on for this, giving back to my community, giving back to students that I was y'all 4 years ago, I remember it so vividly. But I guess I say all that to say, like, you don't know how your future would plan out. You don't know what's going to come, and you don't know the accomplishments that you can knock out. You're more powerful than we often imagine. So with that being said, take all the opportunities. If you see UC Merced and you love it, come bring that impact. We want that. We want students who want to make a legacy, because you'll forever be remembered and you'll forever be cherished by the people that love you most and want to see you succeed. These opportunities that may be lining up and you don't see them as, meant for you, or you're uncomfortable, rock it. Just be comfortable being uncomfortable. A lot of the opportunities and accomplishments that I've done or have finished in my life, I didn't really, envision it to start off, but you got to take that challenge. And sometimes you got to just understand that a higher power might have put it in front of you so that you can accomplish the feat. And don't question everything. Sometimes you just got to step out and do it. So for me, that was definitely my experience at UC Merced. A lot of the stuff I accomplished, I didn't do in high school, and I just wanted to make that impact. But overall, my experience at UC Merced was one of a kind. I'm thankful for all the people that I met, people that helped develop, teach, and offer opportunities to me. So I look forward to hearing from the other student panelists and their experiences as they currently go there. But as an alumni, I'm proud of my school, and I'm proud of the students that come out accomplished with their degrees. So, yes.
And yes, I totally remember that day very well, visiting your high school and those fine students. And I was so proud that you ended up at UC Merced and doing great things now. So we're going to learn a little bit more about what you're involved in a few minutes. But with that, I'd like to now go back to Zelie, who's back on right now. So Zelie, please take it away.
It's such a pleasure to be back here. My name is Nanzan Zelie Aldanza. You all can call me Zelie for short, whichever is easiest for you. A little bit about myself. I am from Long Beach, leaving Long Beach and going to Merced in 2016. It was quite the transition. I would say initially, when you're graduating high school, I felt like I had prepared myself for college. I knew that I was going to go to college. I had no doubt in my mind, but still just leaving Southern California and heading up to the Central Valley was hard, a little bit hard in the beginning. And so I think when I first left and I got to Merced, I was initially really excited. I told my mom, I was like, I can't wait to move out. I can't wait to get out of here. And then I found myself that first semester of undergrad, I kept going back home. I swear to you all, like each week I was going back home to visit my family. And then eventually my mom was like, girl, I promise you, I'm going to change the locks if you do not stop coming back home. You're never going to get comfortable there unless you really, prepare yourself to, be out there. So she was like, get comfortable there, get involved on campus. And I did not know what that looked like. I was like, I'm so used to, being comfortable in my hometown and my high school. Everyone knew me. I was really involved. And then, you initially have to start all over again. And so I think the first thing that I got involved with is with ASUCM. I became an ICC delegate. So basically a little bit about that role is you provide funding to different clubs and organizations on campus to put on various events, to attend conferences. And so for me being a freshman and being able to sit on that board, that's what really got me engaged at UC Merced. And then from there, it was just like a takeoff season. I felt like I just was doing anything possible to get myself involved, always staying involved. So that is a tip that I most definitely recommend for you all, is that when you get on campus, take your time, get acclimated with your classes. That's obviously most important, is having a high GPA. I do want to say that, and I want to remind you all, especially as Black students, prospective Black students in college, that maintaining a high GPA is really important, not only for yourself, but it really does unlock a lot of doors when you do have, high GPA, a lot of opportunities. You'll see there's certain jobs that require a GPA, internship opportunities. So you always want to make sure that you're prepared for any position that may pop up. So yes, get involved, but make sure that you're maintaining your academics as well. And I knew that my sense of identity as a Black woman, that was really important to me. So I got involved with the Black Student Union. I lived in Afro Hall in 2016 when it first started. So I was one of the first people to live in Afro Hall, had a great time. I've met lifelong friends. I was a part of Dr. Mari's program with Brown Youth Academy. So I've got to do a lot. I worked with Kia. Kia was my supervisor for 3 years at UC Merced, and she can really attest to the transition and growth that I've had over the last, wow, now it's almost 6 years that I've had just from staying in connection. So stay well connected with, you know, various individuals, because they will call on you. And I think that's one of the proudest things that I can say about myself, is that even since graduating 2 years ago in 2020, I have stayed in communication, you know, with various faculty and staff at UC Merced, and they have wrote me letter of recommendations to get into graduate school. They've been references for jobs, and, you know, they get to call on me and ask me to come and speak. So it has been a pleasure, most definitely, being at Merced, being an alumni from UC Merced, and now being in my, I guess, early stages of my own professional development and my own life. It's really crazy how time has passed by, but I can say nothing has changed because everything that I learned at Merced has really prepared me. And so now I'm just a big girl in this adult world, but everything, I'm still involved in my own community. I still do similar work like I did in Merced. So I'm just very excited to be here with you all. I could talk for days and days, but I do want to let you all know this, that, you know, my purpose of going into higher education, getting a master's degree in higher ed, working in higher education is for students like you. I knew that I wanted to make sure that Black students had representation on their campuses of a Black individual that, you know, could resonate to the experiences that they have had. So I dedicate my whole professionalism to Black students. And so if any of you all on the call, I don't even know you all, but I am more than willing to be a mentor, a friend, a support system. I'm cheering for you all. I wish you all the best of luck in everything that you do. So if you need anything, please, I'm happy to help in any way possible. And thank you all for inviting me back to be here. It's been really nice.
Fantastic. Thank you both so much, and so happy to have you here and giving back to the UC Merced Community for Future Bobcats. So thank you both, Cecily and Donald. At this time, I'd like to bring our alums both back on camera, but I'm going to also add 2 additional guests to our panel right now, and that's going to be our student panelists, which consist of Ms. Hayley Jenkins, Ms. Nia Bishop, 2 students who is currently a part of our family. And so I'd like to have them each introduce themselves. Basically, if you wouldn't mind just sharing where you're from, what year you're in, what major you're in, and real quickly, why you chose UC Merced. And then after you both introduce yourself, we're going to have an open panel discussion with both our students as well as our alumni. So I'd like to remind those who are participating and visiting with us this evening, if you do have any questions for our panelists, to please make sure you do post those questions in the Q&A area of your Zoom screen. We'll definitely make sure we address those questions to our panelists. Hayley, would you like to introduce yourself first? And then Nia.
Hi, my name is Hayley Jenkins. I'm a first year here at UC Merced. As it says, my major is biological sciences. More specifically, I'm molecular science with the emphasis in cell biology. And my graduating year is 2025. And the main reason why I chose Merced was because it was a smaller school. I personally went to all smaller schools all my life. So I just knew a smaller school is going to be a better fit for me. So I would get to know my peers and my teachers better, because I want to be more than just a number, or, you know, having to go a bunch of times just for the professor to barely remember my name. So I just wanted that experience too. And another reason is because UC Merced is a known research school. And of course, I want to do research. My ultimate goal is to become a neurologist. So this is a good stepping stone and a good path for me to take.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nia Bishop. I do come from San Francisco, the Bay Area. I am a second year. I am undeclared, but I do hope to choose my major next semester, beginning my third year, choosing sociology, or I'm still deciding. Um, but that's what UC Merced is all about. They have an open path for opportunities, and there's many people who can support you and provide that extra advice you may need. And that's where UC Merced really comes handy. Um, I can say that my high school counselor reached out to Mariah Harris to help me uh, take on new challenges and opportunities that are at UC Merced, because I need to dip my feet in new things and create a community at UC Merced. And this is a great start being on this panel, which is, I'm very grateful to be on this panel. One piece of advice I would love to share with you all is to advocate for yourself and maintain that work ethic you have now going into college, because once you slack, you have to continue to pick yourself up, and you always want to stay on top of that. And that's one thing I've been constantly on myself with, and it has been working great. And I'm so proud of myself, and making sure that you keep that confidence, because you don't want to feel that you don't want to feel any doubt or any concerns with your education and the things that you would love to pursue. Thank you all.
Thank you both so much. So thanks for sharing that information. So with that, we're going to kick it off with some questions to our panelists. The first question, I'm going to actually present this to pretty much anyone who'd like to answer. But can you talk about the clubs and extracurricular activities? How did you find information on getting involved on campus in organizations and extracurricular activities?
I have the best perspective as of right now because I am a first year. So, I'm still kind of getting acclimated, especially with COVID. And it's like, where do you go? Who do you go to? What's going on? So my main thing was, along with finding friends on my floors, when I first got here and in my classes, those are pretty big because they also need stuff. If you do end up living on campus, definitely go to your RA, because they are usually heavily involved in the school. Obviously, they became an RA, so they do know a lot. They'll send you different links and stuff, line up and do basically a recruiting. So you can walk up to their tent if you want to and ask all these questions, or sometimes they'll walk up to you too. So those are just like a couple of different ways that I found, especially when I got here. And don't be afraid to ask them any questions, because they want you to join. They want to keep their club going. So yeah, that's what I found out.
Thank you, Hayley, for that. Here's a question for some of those from Southern California. We have a parent on the phone whose son is from Los Angeles. They're not familiar with the Merced area at all. So can you speak to how you feel supported on campus, transitioning from a large city like Los Angeles to Merced? And with that question, what do you find are activities and things to do in the Merced area in general?
I can, unless anyone else wants to go, I can speak a little bit about that transition and how to prepare for it. So like I mentioned, coming from Long Beach, so LA County as well, it can be quite a transition, especially when you're used to, maybe a more fast-paced environment, and then you go to, to Merced, and it's a little bit slower pace. So what I did to really prepare myself for that transition is when I initially took a tour at UC Merced, I was, very intrigued. I was like, I think I want to go here. I want to explore this a little bit more. So any opportunities that they had, like meet and greets, anything that the admissions office was putting on, any type of events that I heard about at Merced, I always attended those just because it helped me to hear from, student stories. That kind of prepared me. And then additionally, I did take a tour with my family on my own up to Merced to visit the campus as well. So if you do have that opportunity to go and visit Merced, I would recommend you can take the train up there. You can fly in if you would like, get in the car, take a little road trip. So if you do have that luxury and privilege to do so, I would recommend that. But if you don't, it's no worries. You will be okay. What I would just recommend is meeting friends, getting connected with different faculty and staff there, whoever you feel most comfortable with. And I'm sure they will take you in and show you the ropes. When I was there, I don't know eating, I love to eat. So I've been to pretty much any taco shop in Merced. I've probably been to it. Majority of the restaurants in Merced, I've probably been there as well. So those are my favorite things to do. Sam's Cafe is a must. You have to go to Sam's Cafe. Get boba. One of my good friends, she's obsessed with MT. So MT is a nice place to go as well. And then a lot of you may hear this or you already may know, but Merced's housing, when you transition off campus, housing is really affordable. So a lot of upperclassmen, they would have houses, and so they would invite lower classmen over. So maybe for the weekend, they'll have an event on a Saturday, barbecue, everyone hangs out. And that's how I really met a lot of friends and got connected. And then they also shared their experiences, like, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. So those are my tips when you're traveling from a larger area. But trust me, there's plenty opportunities for your son to travel back home and visit you, and vice versa.
Thank you so much. Did anyone else want to add information as well? Or all right. All right, thank you. So the next question is, this would be a great question, especially for those who just went through this process. What was the application process like for you? Was it difficult filling out the application? Did you run into problems? How did you gain assistance with that? So.
I can speak on that. So one thing or one factor that really benefited me well when applying to UC Merced was all the programs I was a part of. I was a part of, for example, this one program called Alive and Free Omega Boys and Girls Club. They teach young Black students how to stay alive and free in the Bay Area from gun violence and any street violence, home abuse, all of that. They teach you about Black history and so on. I was a part of the 100% program. So there's many opportunities and mentors and tutors who can provide support for your application process. You must ask the right people. There will be people who will help you complete your application. Another thing that is very helpful is if you have any close high school teachers, like your English teachers, or maybe your homeroom teacher, anybody who's willing to look over or even review your application so that it's up to date or good enough for you to receive the admission advice you would like to receive. It'll all be, all of the people in your high school and your family, they're all there to support you. So you have to ask the right questions and look for the right people so that you can be successful.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. Assistance is out there. Do not be afraid to ask for assistance, especially when filling out the UC application, because it is a very comprehensive process to go through. A lot of information is being asked of you. So make sure you are utilizing all your resources and those connections that you have made. Because once again, just like we are at UC Merced school, you should feel like you should be able to go to your counselors for support, your teachers, because they are your home away from home and your family away from family during those hours that you're at school. So make sure you are getting those assistance as much as possible. We have a question coming in about highlights about our psychology program. Is there anyone, I don't know if there's anyone on our program, or actually for psychology, any highlights about the psychology program? One of the things that I will say about the psychology program itself, it is perhaps the largest major at UC Merced. One of the things that you can learn about UC Merced is that we may have programs that are pretty much the most applied to, such as psychology, biological sciences, computer science and engineering. However, none of our programs are capped. You may have heard the term impacted, and that is not the case at UC Merced because we still have the capacity to grow. And so your major is not factored into our selection process when going to the program because, again, we are not capped. Psychology is a pretty comprehensive major at UC Merced. And it's ideal for those of you who may decide you want to go into a variety of different fields. And maybe some of you may want to go to medical school. Some of you may want to pursue becoming a marriage and family therapist later. Child psychology, behavioral, even going to law enforcement. There's a lot of opportunities for you to pursue different areas within this major. So there's some great information. We're going to put, if someone can put in the chat, some information on our psychology program we're going to go to get that information. That'll be awesome. Next question. We have an athlete in the room. So this question, the student is asking, do students go to basketball games, etc.?
I'll take this one. Yes. As an athlete, you have multiple opportunities to walk on or receive scholarships if you are getting looked at already. But as far as the campus involvement and student extracurricular activities, there's a lot. I don't know if whoever may have asked this question has been to a college basketball game or a college volleyball game, but as students, we have pride in our school and we love going out there and supporting students that we may have class with or we're friends with. So any sports, you're going to see a lot of people in the community coming to support, as well as even if it's not the typical sports, even if it's intramurals or clubs, we're always going to go out there and support. So whether you want to see a game or if you just want to have fun, students will always come and show our support for you.
Wonderful.
I would like to say I was a part of the intramural soccer club. I can't say that was amazing, especially because I've been playing soccer for 12 years. So being able to play for fun is great because there's no pressure at all. And also like there's many talented soccer students, and like you're gonna be surprised. It is a really good thing to watch and do with your friends. And in the gym, there's a whole bunch of athletes. Like you'll see people playing soccer, you'll see people heavy weightlifting. It's a side.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This question I'm going to ask, and I'm going to zero in on our alums. If you can talk about opportunities that have prepared you to where you are right now and what you actually are involved in terms of your life post UC Merced. How were internship opportunities vital to you, especially in an area in which is considered by many to be remote? Did you take advantage of internships, research opportunities in other cities? How did you navigate that? And how has it led to where you are today as an alum?
All right, thank you, Zeely. I would definitely say take advantage of any opportunity that you're given. Considering that the school is smaller, there's more access to opportunities. You're not going to have as many students applying. And I think what I tell a lot of students, as I work in nonprofit now, the people that even apply, you're already 50% ahead of the game. 50% of it is truly mental. And the first person to take that step, like the people asking questions in here, you're already setting yourself up for success. And people who you may look up to as the faculty or current students or alumni, we notice that and we see that interest and we love to help, like I've talked about before. So speaking to my internship experience with Dr. Marve, I would say that a lot of it comes from just talking to people. I ended up actually getting the opportunity because I took her husband, Professor Harris's econ class, and I was talking to him and we built a rapport to the point where he felt comfortable introducing me to her and she had an opening. And like I've talked about before, when everything lines up, just take it. And that was what I did. I applied, I got it, and I rocked it out the first year, came back for another. And honestly, what I would say is the internship prepared me for what I do now because, like I said, I work in nonprofit. And I was actually a college and career specialist for 6 months. And I've actually just got moved up to be a wellness counselor within the last week. But what I will say is working with the middle school students in the program prepared me to work with high school students. As a lot of you guys are high school students, I go out to 5 different districts in Sacramento with schools and I help students as far as applying for FAFSA, college applications, personal statements, letters of references. I'm giving back to them the same way that Dr. Mari gave back to me. And I loved it, especially the emphasis on higher education, because a lot of students don't understand the opportunities are there. Anything that you want to learn, anything that you're interested in, it's out there. It's on you to go get it. It's your life. And one thing I love about UC Merced is like the community will help you get there. There's people that will tell you about the opportunities as soon as you're a freshman. There's people there that'll be like, hey, if you're interested, you can talk to this person, they can help you, or go here and get your resume fixed or whatever. There's so many opportunities, but my encouragement to y'all is believe in yourself. College is an investment in who you are. And at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be hard to get these opportunities. But if you do, and they're there and you're confident enough, you're going to get them. I promise you that. And even if you don't, you can talk to the people still. They're not enemies. They're still regular people. And you can talk to them about how to improve and get the opportunity the next time you apply, and or just getting information on what they do in their careers. Professors are so multifaceted that you may have an interest in what they have. So take advantage of that. And let me allow some time for Zeely to talk. I'm sorry.
No, that was perfect. Donald, what he spoke on kind of segues into what I want to talk about. So what I would say is the key to success, and remember, I tell you this, and you probably have heard this, is not what you know, it's who you know. And I mean, yes, what you know is very important, because if you're not knowledgeable, you're not going to be prepared about, the people that you may interact with. But everything that I have done, every opportunity that has been granted to me, granted, I was already prepared for that opportunity, whether that be work experience, internship opportunities, but it's really who I knew. Just by connecting with people, staying in connections with people, working with Dr. Mari, working under Kia. I know Timothy asked about different internship opportunities, and Donald mentioned, yes, Merced, you are grateful. If you do attend UC Merced, you're not competing with as many people, but it's okay. Even if there's one position and 100 people apply, it's a perfect experience, because that's just how the real world is. When you're applying for jobs, trust me, for every job, there's probably at least 200 people applying for that same role. So I got to do literally everything that I wanted to do in undergrad, just because of the people that I knew, just speaking to them, they knew me. So that is the key to success personally. I think is really just staying in connections with people, calling people. You build that rapport with Dr. Mari. Dr. Mari will invite you to come work with her. Kia may, invite you to be a leader. There's just so many things that you can do. So stay well connected with different individuals.
Agree. Thank you both so much for that insight. Thank you both so much. So going back, we have another question about BSU. Is there a BSU on campus? And with this question, I'd like to also ask what type of events have certain organizations like BSU have put on for the community?
I don't know if maybe one of the current students, I don't know, Hayley or Nia, are you all involved in the Black Student Union and maybe want to share about your current experiences? Donald and I were both on the e-board, so we can give a little bit of insight, but I'm not sure if things are still the same now.
I haven't, sorry. I haven't joined yet because my first semester, I just wanted to get acclimated and I just wanted to, just get used to it. But I am going to join this semester. And I still do plan on joining a sorority this semester too. So I'm going to get more involved. But the things I have heard about it are pretty good from BSU. I've heard about the grilling or the barbecue in the beginning of the year. Unfortunately, I did miss it and I was pretty upset about that, I will not lie. But I do attend on joining this year or this semester. So
just to add a little bit more, so you definitely start off the year with the Welcome Black Barbecue, and I advise all my freshmen, this is where you will meet a lot of the Black community as far as people on and off campus. This is a great time to network. You have the Pajama Jam party, which, it's a fun event, but handle your schoolwork first. You also have the Black Talk that you have with professors and faculty, which is honestly my favorite because you talk about love in the community And love is just bigger than relationships. It's the way your actions are, your relations with people, your relationship with yourself, things of that nature. And many more events, especially the Family Day. I love Family Day. But there's so many events for you to get involved in. And my experience with BSU was a really good one. I was on the e-board. I was an active participant. I went to ABC, which is African Black Coalition Conference every year in January. It's all the BSUs in California that apply, and pretty much it's a gathering of thousands of students. And it's honestly one of the most eye-opening events that I've ever been to. And all of these are at access to you for free. Besides paying your BSU dues, $20, y'all parents can get y'all that, I promise. But everything else is free, and it's all about the opportunities that you want to take. For me, it got in the Afro Hall, and by default, I'm like, okay, I'm going to BSU. I wasn't involved in high school, but in college, it completely changed my ideology. It changed the way I looked at people. It changed the way that I felt about my identity. It empowered me and created a more confident Donald at the end of the day. So regarding the BSU, I would definitely say at least check it out and give it a chance before you write it off. It may not be for everybody, but I definitely think it is for y'all students that are here in this Zoom, asking questions and getting more knowledge. So if y'all get a chance, talk to some people here, ask questions about it, because we have no problem sharing our experiences and some tips and tricks.
Thank you, Donald and Zeely. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're gonna shift gears. Question about the campus itself. So this is gonna be a great question because when our alums were on our campus, it looked a little different than what it looks like now. So the questions coming in is that the student did visit Merced for their senior year field trip. That is a huge school, but it looked like it was still being built. So this question is, how good is the housing for freshmen? And looks like the medical section. Not sure. I guess with the medical section, let's talk about the housing first of all, and we can talk about where we are with the medical program that's currently being developed. But can anyone talk about what life is like at UC Merced as it's growing, and how you found housing? Did you find access to housing?
I can. Okay. So when I first got my acceptance, UC Merced, they'll send you a lot of emails with a lot of different information. So you'll definitely want to watch out for that. Honestly, they'll send you information when they know you're applying or they know that you're interested in this school, because they want you to know. They don't want you to lose out on an opportunity or just not know and then be all flustered when it's time to apply. So basically, you want to watch out for that. Housing was pretty easy. There's also a ton of webinars just like this that you could come to, and they'll explain the housing to you and how to apply. You'll also want to check out, there's a checklist that the school will give you, and housing is under one of those options. And basically what they do is they'll walk you through basically all the stuff that you'll need and all the stuff that you need to do to apply and make sure that you're all good to go. So it was pretty easy for me to find housing. I do live on the newer part of campus, and so I'm more towards like if you've been here, I'm in Glacier Point. I don't know if you guys remember where that is. So it's one of the newer buildings and kind of in the middle of the campus, right next to the cafeteria. I like where I live because it's not a far walk from basically anywhere on the campus, to be honest. So I'm more in the middle. It is nice watching the campus kind of open, because I know the biological sciences and physics building just opened. So that was kind of interesting because last semester it was all closed and stuff, and everybody was like, oh, I wonder when we're gonna get in. I wonder when people were gonna be allowed in there. And now it's open. Me and my friends, we want to go check it out too. So we're gonna go do that probably over the weekend. But it is interesting to see the school open up. All the people are really nice here. All the RAs are nice, and you could meet a lot of people here. It's really fun. So yeah.
For me, my first year, and this is right when COVID had hit, they had an option for students to be able to stay on campus for a quiet learning or for a better place for you to get your work done. And I was able to be there for both semesters, and I was given a 4 bedroom, and I was the only one in there. And I had space, time, and quietness. And I could tell you, I was very appreciative because I was alone, my work got done, and I did what I needed to do. And I can say that was probably like the best part of COVID because when you have the space and time to do what you need to do, guarantee you're gonna get it done. Another thing, I was on Cathedral and I was a part of Afro Hall my first year. I can't say my floor was completely loud. I'm just kidding, it wasn't loud all the time, but sometimes you can hear people's music from down the hall by the elevator, or you can hear people cooking and laughing and chilling down in the laundry area. It didn't really matter, but it was still a great experience. And majority of the people I knew on my floor were either my class or we did another activity, and you kind of will stick with these people and these people will really get to know you and connect with you on a different level. And that was a good experience as well. Now I live in Mariposa, and that's right by the gym and the old cafeteria. Is that, I think it was an old cafeteria. And I get to be by the food trucks. And so the food trucks, I can say they're okay. They're a little expensive, but if you have your cat dollars, you have none to worry about. So you get all what you need at the food truck and everything is really great. And also I can say Merced campus is peaceful. Like everywhere you go, it don't matter what time of night it is. Like you hear little people, but like it's quiet and it's a great space where you can get your work done. And if that's what you're looking for to be at a research 4-year college or university, UC Merced is definitely a place because you will get that time you need to get your work done.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much. All right, we have a prospective student who's going to be applying to UC Merced at the end of this year. I was wondering about the many opportunities of work opportunities on campus and finding those opportunities or even nearby. So can anyone speak to working and how did you find work? Was it easy?
Oh, I can do that too. So finding a job was pretty easy for me. What you want to do is if you do come to school, or I know a lot of schools use this too, you want to download Handshake. And basically what Handshake is the school basically uploads all their different jobs on campus and off campus. And they also do different internships and study things. So basically what we do is you go on there and it lists the job prescription and what they do and what requirements they need from you. And you just apply and they'll get back to you if they want to hear from you. And it's a really easy process because that's how I found my job. I'm a Moja student ambassador, which is basically why I'm here tonight. I help advertise the school to students, specifically African American students, Black students, African students. Just so they know about the school, like, hey, we're here and we want you to join. So it was really easy for me and the experience was nice. I liked it and I like my job now. So yeah.
Thank you, Hayley, so much for that. Next question. Oh, it's a great one. Do you think it was or it is easy to maintain a good GPA at UC Merced? And what type of study tips would you provide to?
If y'all don't mind, I would like to go first. I can say one study habit that I have made a routine is making sure I fill my planner out every Sunday before the week starts. I don't miss a day. I have a checklist. You make sure you check off all your assignments and look at your courses and see what work you have done. I do believe CAP courses is one of the best resources UC Merced can provide. You can be anywhere and you can look at your email, your calendar, what classes you have coming up, and that can really help you sort out your schedule. Maintaining your GPA, I don't think it's hard at all, but I can say make sure you choose your classes wisely. you don't want to overwhelm yourself too much, but you do want to maintain a good workload so that, you're not doing too little, but you're doing just enough for yourself. And I feel like if you're doing just enough for yourself, you'll be able to maintain anything, your GPA, your sleep, your health, and anything else that comes up with keeping up with you, your grades, and your personal life. Another study tip I can give you is make sure you take notes for anything. And read your syllabus. Those can be two factors that can get you through the semester very well. Other than that, make sure you do your homework too, because homework is part of your grade. Maybe not participation, but make sure you do your homework.
Wonderful, thank you. So we have another question. This is open to all. Is there anything you wish you'd known before attending?
I'll go. So something that I wish I would have known before attending UC Merced was basically, I guess, how big the school is. Or it's big and it's not at the same time. I guess how big the campus is, I should say. Yeah, that's better wording, how big the campus is. Because at my old school, I walked a little, but at this school, I walk a lot. So I know that's one thing they say about most campuses, you do walk a lot. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Like I didn't really kind of believe them until I got here. And I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of walking. And especially at this school, it's kind of on a hill. So to get to the classes, you have to walk up the hill, or in my side, you could take the stairs. So there's no way around it basically. I got a board, I got a skateboard actually. So I would have to walk less because there's a lot of walking. And I was like, kind of surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of walking. So yeah, that's one thing I wish I knew.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to add?
One thing that I could say, something that I wish I knew, well, I wish I knew a lot of things. I wish that this Zealy now can go back and redo undergrad all over again, because it would have been a completely different experience. But what I will say is that 4 years goes by very fast. You will watch how fast time goes just by being in college. And especially if you're involved, 4 years feels like honestly 2 years. So just be prepared for that. The time really does go really fast and you're living on a semester. So just think about it, 2 semesters. If you do summer session as well, 3 semesters, and it's gonna go super, super fast. And then another thing is just, honestly, the little problems that come up, whether that be with friendships, relationship issues back home, just little small stuff that happens in college, because it will happen, little disagreements, fights, all of that type of stuff. It's not going to be as important when you're going through it. I know when you fall out with your friend, it's like the end of the world. Right when it's going on, you're like, oh my goodness, my friend, we spend every day together. But honestly, once you get into your job and you move on with certain things, it's not as important. So I wish that I knew that, because I honestly would have never harbored on, such small things. Those are my 2 things that I wish I knew. Oh, and one more is that you really can meet your lifelong friends in college. So that's another thing, if it happens for you, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. You didn't miss out that much, but it can most definitely happen. You can meet genuine people.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ply. I'd like to pose this question again to our alums. If you wouldn't mind sharing how long it took for you to graduate from UC Merced, and in doing so, do you think that it was more challenging in general for Black students to graduate versus other races on our campus?
Okay. So for me, it took 4 years. You could technically say 4.5 because I did a summer after my 4th year, but I ended up double majoring. So that is what added to the extra semester. And quickly, I will tell y'all that I was actually going to study abroad before I wanted to double major, but I got accepted to Barbados and I planned to go, and then COVID happened. So unfortunately that didn't work, but I was just proactive about it. And I was like, I'm taking a lot of these classes, so I might as well major in it, add that on my degree, compensate a little bit more. But compared to how long, I guess I'd say my success story was, because you guys are writing your success story now, it definitely was a bit more challenging, as you don't see as many faces as the complete school. But for me, it wasn't too harsh, because I found that niche group, my community of people that I really felt like I rocked with. I felt like they would support me. And that's really the biggest thing I will say for y'all. That's a tip. Find friends that want to support you. And that's the biggest difference I learned about college compared to at home. These people here, especially at UC Merced, like everybody else has been saying, they're super nice. They genuinely want to see you win. From the professors who will write you letters of rec or help you with tutoring or office hours, to the students that'll be like, hey, you want to hang out with me and we can study and do flashcards, or maybe we should go to office hours together. It's about finding that community of people that want to push you and support you in getting your degree or degrees. So for that, it was a little bit more challenging, as it isn't an HBCU, it is a UC system, and it's not predominantly Black. But when you find that group of students that you really connect with, and it doesn't have to be the whole, all the Black students, it can be 3, 10, 15, it's up to you. It's your journey, and you decide how many people you want in your circle. But the people that you do allow, I promise, a lot of them at UC Merced will be there to push you and guide you in having that retention, from Afro to faculty to the students. They all want to make sure that you stay there and you get the most out of your experience. So for me, in the social science department, it took me 4.5.
And for me as well, it took me 4 years to receive my undergraduate degree. Considering I also changed my major second semester of junior year to critical race and ethnic studies from business administration. And I was still able to graduate on time as well. So it is most definitely doable to graduate in 4 years. But I also did take summer classes. I took classes at the community college. So I was really proactive in utilizing my downtime to help me, stay on track. So that's why when I switched abruptly, I didn't fall, too behind, or I didn't have to stay longer. As well as Black student, or to answer that question, do I think it's harder for Black students? So I actually published, I worked with UROC as a student researcher. And from that, the project continued. And my research advisor, Dr. Whitney Pirtle, she's a sociology professor at UC Merced. Most definitely get connected with her if you plan to go to Merced. And for those that are currently there, please go knock on her door and tell her that I sent you personally. We spent 3.5 years dedicating our lives to really studying, Black student success at a Hispanic serving institution. And from that research opportunity, we were able to publish an article. And I'm so proud that we were able to do so, because in doing that, we were able to unveil a lot of issues that Black students face while being at a Hispanic serving institution. And so, yes, it is very hard. It was very hard to graduate in 4 years, not because of the classes. It had nothing to do with the classes. It was that as a Black woman navigating this system, that part was challenging, because not only was I going to college for myself, but I also wanted to make sure that I was representing my community. So that was a lot of pressure as well. And then I had family obligations that required me to work full time. So not only did I work on campus, I actually worked off campus as well. So that was additionally, harder, trying to take care of my family, take care of myself, be involved on campus. And so, do research, being as involved as possible. So there are studies. If you all don't mind, Kia, I don't know if it's okay if I drop the article link in the chat, but if you want, it's really long, but you all can read more about it. And it is actually true that you may face some obstacles and some hurdles. So that's why mental health and taking care of yourself is really, really important, because if you have those positive things in your life, it will allow you to, de-stress, because microaggressions, racism, all of those issues, unfortunately, they're still present in our, present day. So we can't get around it. You can't change those type of things, but you most definitely can, work on yourself and heal yourself to be able to deal with it. So it will be a challenge, but it's most definitely doable. And me and Donald are, attesting that you most definitely can get it done and still do it all.
Thank you both so much. Very important and great information shared. So really appreciate that. Going off, piggyback on that question, the past 2 years, of course, we've dealt with a lot, the pandemic, we're still in the midst of that. But there's also been other situations that have been happening in our country in the midst of the social uprisings that have occurred, and Black Lives Matter, the movement are really becoming more vocal. And I'd like to ask what influence, if any, have you seen the Black Lives Matter movement impact our campus at UC Merced, specifically in the community at large?
Okay. I would say Black Lives Matter affected a lot of the community by helping us create that identity, helping us specify and identify that as Black men and women that deal with outside issues and possibilities that are only open to us in specific scenarios. It created that need for that group. It created that need for the BSU to be a little bit more friendly and family oriented, because we were clinging to each other and it was all that we had. I will say that from my experience from 2017 to 2021, the identity was there as far as sticking together, as far as talking about social justice issues or problems or updates or corrections that we wanted to apply to our own campus in itself. We just had those talks and that discourse to allow everybody to, one, feel heard, but two, to have that safe space to truly say what we want. And ranging from Afro Hall, when the RA was my dear friend Julius, he set up a lot of events for us to really sit down and talk about these matters and talk about these issues that may be bothering us, different from the academics, different from the relationships on campus, different from the internships, like just social justice issues. So for me, I would say the impact was on the community. The impact was on creating that family. The impact was on supporting each other. When we go out to events, we're all pretty much mobbing together. We want to make sure that everybody has each other's back, whether there's disagreements or not. The community is bigger than small matters. And that's what I loved about the campus, and the students that went there when I went there or are still attending. They made sure to create that family-oriented safe space.
To piggyback off of what Donald said, in short, being here with you all tonight, it almost brings tears to my eyes, literally, because I was at Merced at a time where I felt like, the university was not listening to us. I was like, there's no way that we have the highest percentage of Black students, amongst the UC system. There's so many of us. You cannot walk the campus without passing a Black student. Yet the university is not meeting our needs. They're not meeting our demands that we're asking for. And I felt like the things that we were asking for was not a lot, because we know that the university has the capacity to do so, to give us different resources available to allow us to succeed. So to be here, though this is in a virtual space, but to, listen, as Mariah was sharing earlier, about all the resources that UC Merced has now compared to what UC Merced had when I began, and even the alumni before me. I was, knew a lot of alumni prior to me coming to UC Merced. And so they would share about their experiences. So let me tell you, I want to let you all know that we most definitely, this is a labor of love. We all fought as students. We all came together, as Donald mentioned, and we put our heads together and we advocated for ourselves, and we never gave up. Even when we heard no, we still kept persisting. We still kept pushing through. And so because of the labor that we have put in, it has really opened doors for a lot of opportunities that you hear, that you all see now, being here, being able to have access to Black students, to be able to, be you're surrounded by people that look like you, to have full representation. You're here, you're seeing lots of representation. And this is not even all of it. To hear about, now we have specialized student ambassadors, like Umoja student ambassador, to hear about the different clubs and organizations that we have Divine Nine on campus. Donald helped bring Divine Nine in. I've helped as well support that initiative, and, you know, working with faculty, doing research to let them know, like, this is not just how we feel. We're not just talking about our feelings. Here's actual data to back up, you know, what students are saying. So let me tell you, it has been a process. It's been a long process to get to where we are now. But I think the Black Lives Matter movement really did wake a lot of everyone, you know, not the corporate world, higher education, K through 12 systems, everybody. It woke the whole world up. This is like a global initiative to really value Black lives in America specifically. And I think UC Merced most definitely, just from what I'm hearing, I know there's still work that is being done, hiring diversity, diversity, equity, and inclusive officers, and, you know, all of this different work that's been done. I think is most definitely the Black Lives Matter movement is what really started that. That was a catalyst for all of these things to happen. So I look forward to the growth that I know is going to come. So I do want to let you know, students, prospective Black Bobcats, to really advocate for yourself, never give up. And even if you don't feel like you are being supported, go find your peers, go find your Black peers on campus. You all work together and bring whatever resource that you want. You all can work together and make it happen. So yes, I am so glad, you know, that I was able to see a lot of first things happen at UC Merced. And I know that you all will continue more work. I'll come back in 3 years and I'll see even more resources. So yeah, I'm very proud, really, really proud.
Thank you, Zelie and Donald, for sharing how you both took part in actively shaping and amplifying Black voices on our campus and in the Merced community at large. So thank you both so much. We are at times like this. At this time, I'd like to pass it back to Marve Eggleston. Thank you to our panelists as well. So Marve.
Hey, I got to say that this has been an inspiring event to listen to our graduates and our undergrad. I mean, you can't help but to think our school is doing something right. I mean, I think the one thing that a lot of people, you know, in listeners, I actually did go to a HBCU back in the day, and I am a firm believer of that small school atmosphere, making those connections. And like Donald said, you don't have to be friends with everybody, but you make the most of who you have. You know, it could be 2, 3, 10. It can be a small group, but if you think about it, your family has prepared you to go out and make something of yourself. And if you do it with a negative attitude, you won't get far. And I've heard Dr. Harris say this on more than one occasion. You have to have an open mind and be prepared. I mean, there's going to be obstacles. You know, everything's not going to work perfectly. It doesn't work perfectly at home. But if you make the most of your opportunities and be flexible, you know, be flexible enough to say, hey, this isn't right. I need to change it. Or this worked for me. You know, having a small university, you have access to your faculty and staff. If you need help, it's not like you have to make an appointment and be there next week like you get in some public service. You can actually get it on time. And then when you're able to do that, you're ultimately here to get educated, okay? And if you think about it, do I really need all those distractions that I'm accustomed to at the inner city, be it at home, be it out there in the streets? You know, pretty soon you realize if I want to get somewhere, I gotta close that down. I gotta shut it down to a point so that I can get what I need so I can take it to the next level. And if you can go to a university, and I guarantee you this, if you can go to any university in the UC system and graduate in 4, 4.5 years, oh, you've done a job. I mean, you've really done a job. So I, take heed to what's been told here. It's a really good thing. You know what? With that, I'd like to say thank you to our dynamic speakers for those words of inspiration and encouragement that they provided to us. Certainly I'd say thank you to our alumni and undergraduate student panelists for sharing their experiences and to their insights to being a Black Bobcat. I mean, you're a special breed. I want to also say thank you to the Office of Admissions team hosting this event. I mean, without your support and, a lot of people wouldn't be aware of what's going on and how we do things and how we can make an impact in a number of different people's lives. And finally, I want to say thank you to the audience for both your focus and your participation for this entire evening. Please let us know how we can further assist you and provide you with information that'll help you make that decision to make the next move to stand up and be a new student. Remember to check out our UC Merced events calendar for future events. And we invite you all to join us in our in-person Bobcat Day, which is open house on April 23rd. And you'll be able to meet students, clubs, organizations, and learn more about the academic opportunities and resources. So once again, thank you and have a good evening. Good night.